And I'm actually going to get right into it. And you really want to know how. How can I blaze my own path? How can I be successful? How can I follow the path that someone else has laid for me to be successful?
Sitting on deuces while the blunt burn. Still raping rap music cause I want more. All money in, it's just us four. It's just copy, it's just Harvey, it's just Rempro. It's just Adam, it's just Black Salmon, both the facts. Where your 600 bands, where your rovers at? Where your Cuban links, nigga, where your rollies at? Where your big booty?
What's up, everybody, and welcome to What's Up, Bree. This is episode 4 of season 2, and we are talking about credit today. It's all about credit. I had to get some assists from my homegirl, Gloria.
Hey, y'all.
She is the credit guru, so I'm going to allow her to introduce herself, and we're going to jump right in.
Hey, everybody. So my name is Gloria Mitchell. I own a credit repair company. It's called First Class Financial Solutions. Here today to just give you guys gems, tips on different credit situations. You guys can follow me on Instagram, firstclass_financial solutions. You can also follow my business page on Facebook, which is First Class Financial Solutions.
Yes. She is currently helping me get my credit life together. And she's been doing an awesome job. Even with me having some hiccups, my girl still got my back.
Period.
So we are going to get into some questions because I know they don't talk about credit a lot. So I feel like this is why I wanted to kind of broadcast it. So one of the first questions, because even though a lot of people act like they know, they may not. What is credit exactly?
So credit is basically the ability to borrow money with the expectation that you'll be able to pay it back on time later in the future.
Okay. See, and a lot of people think credit is just a number or a score or what you got. So make sure y'all paying attention and taking notes, okay? All right. So then the next question is, what does a credit score consist of?
So basically, a credit score consists of 5 components. The first one being payment history. So payment history is basically like 35% of your overall credit score. So that means, of course, like making on-time payments. The second component is debt or available credit. So another thing that factors into your credit score is how much debt do you have? Is the debt good or is the debt negative? Debt doesn't always mean that it's a bad thing as long as you're making those payments on time.
Okay, so on-time payments are definitely important.
Yes, and then that accounts for 30% of your overall credit score.
Okay.
The third component is length of credit. So, and that accounts for 15% of your credit score. So basically age. The older an account is on your credit report, the better. So I always tell like a lot of my clients, people are like, oh, I'm going to get this credit card closed, whatever the case may be. And I always tell them don't do that because the history or the age attached to that credit card will also disappear and it'll actually harm your credit versus helping your credit. Yes. And then the fourth thing is mix of credit that accounts for 10% of your overall credit score. So I always like to tell my clients have, just a mix of things. So installment loans, something like a car note,
Okay.
Credit cards. I always recommend everybody to have at least 2 credit cards. One is just not enough. Me personally, I have about 20 credit cards. Got about 20 credit cards.
And listen, ain't nothing wrong with that. You can never have too many credit cards.
Yes, I use them all responsibly. I pay them all almost in full. I pay them like 99% off, and I'll leave like a 1% balance, which I'll get into later.
Okay.
But yes, some sort of short-term loan, so that could be something like a self-lender account, a long-term installment loan, that could be something like a car note,
Okay.
and then at least 2 credit cards.
Okay.
The next thing is new credit. So basically applying for anything new, whether that is a car note or another credit card. That accounts for 10% of your overall credit score as well.
Okay. So when it comes to inquiries, because a lot of people get nervous, what do you suggest as far as like how often you should probably apply for something?
I personally feel like no more than 5 things within a year.
Okay.
Because if you apply for too much credit, it can make you seem desperate to lenders. Like, why are they applying for so much stuff, especially if you're applying for stuff and getting denied? So I always recommend to, don't apply for no more than 5 things.
Okay. Don't exert yourself, people. If you get approved for something, don't go crazy and be like, I'm going to apply for this, that, and third. Like you heard her say, she has about 20 credit cards, but she uses them responsibly. That is the word, responsibly. Okay?
Yes, y'all.
Alrighty. So what's the credit score range? A lot of people want to know what's good credit, bad credit, fair credit, horrible credit. They want to know.
Okay, so the credit score ranges from 300, which of course is horrible, to 8 to 850,
okay,
which is basically the highest. And of course, the higher your credit score is, the better it is basically for you to get low to no interest rate, approvals up the ass, like, so, yeah.
Okay. So all the people, what would you suggest for people that are kind of like, I guess, toggling in between? Because I know personally me and you have had multiple discussions to where it's like I would pay something off and maybe it didn't give me as many points back as it took. So I know a lot of people get confused sometimes when it comes to that.
Okay, so let me explain this. So a lot of people think, for one, when things get deleted from your credit report, that your score will go up, or they're expecting like a super big increase. And actually that's not the case. So when, depending on what the account is and it does get deleted, it being deleted is an amazing thing. But sometimes your score can actually go down. And the reasoning is because, say if like, even though it's a negative account, say if it's been on your report for like 10 years, that history attached to that account is also deleted. So sometimes I have to explain that to clients. They're like, well, if you did this, why isn't it going up? And so, I have to, explain that, because a lot of people, they don't know that.
See, and that's why we here dropping gems today, letting the people know like what it is, because it's more than what meets the eye, I feel like. So that's exactly why, again, I wanted to bring this episode to the light. So another thing is, what's the difference between a Vantage score and a FICO score?
So they basically have the same common goal, which is to, first of all, let me go back some. So some people use Credit Karma to view their credit score. Some people use a credit monitoring site called Identity IQ. Some people use FICO 8. There are at least 50 different scoring modules, and they all can reflect different credit scores. They're all correct. They're all correct. Different scoring modules use different systems to calculate someone's credit score. So when people be like, well, on Credit Karma, which I highly recommend nobody uses because they're severely incorrect.
I've been seeing that all over social media.
I'm just be honest.
You heard it from the credit guru herself.
And Credit Karma is missing an entire credit bureau, so no. But yeah, I always have to explain that to people because they always wonder, well, on Experian it says this, on Credit Karma it says this. So I always let them know there's at least like 50 different scoring modules when it comes to credit scores, credit profiles, and they're all right for that particular model.
Okay.
So the main difference between a Vantage credit score and a FICO credit score is, for one, a couple years ago, Vantage credit scores used to start at 250 and go all the way up to, I want to say it's either 990 or 901.
Damn.
So yeah, so their scoring module was completely different as far as scores. FICO goes to 300 to an 850.
Okay.
But eventually, the Vantage scoring model got on the same board.
Okay, so they're on the same page now.
Yes, but the main difference is when it comes to Vantage scoring models, you can have a trade line, anything, so like a car note or a credit card, and it could be brand new day one, and it'll reflect on your credit report. FICO scores is basically like you have to have some sort of trade line, but it has to be reporting for at least 6 months. If it's not reporting within 6 months, it will not report on your credit score when it comes to FICO scoring.
Listen, that's something that I did not know. So y'all heard her, right? The Vantage score will possibly report immediately. FICO has to be at least 6 months, and if you don't see it after 6 months, it ain't gonna be there. That's crazy though to me. Like, okay, and do they put that in disclaimers, or is that something that you, I guess, will just have to know?
Something you just have to know, but you can easily get access to it on the internet.
Okay. So what the people want to know is what contributes to having a good credit score, because I feel like that's the big thing. Like, what's a good score? What's a bad score? Where should you be? A lot of people are worried about it, especially now with COVID and hard times going on. So what is considered a good credit score?
I feel like anything at a 700 or above is considered good.
Okay.
That's normally what I always try to get my clients to is a 700. That's when they're officially graduate from my program. Yeah,
I'll be graduating soon. Just watch.
Yes, she will be. But one of the biggest factors, as I mentioned earlier, is payment history. Making one late payment can drop your score down 100 points. I've seen it before with a few of my clients. So I always stress to everyone, make sure that you make, especially stuff that reports to the credit bureau, payments on time every single time. Every single time. Every single time.
She putting emphasis on it. So question with it, so some people may not know, when is something considered late?
So something is considered late if you don't pay it by the due date. It's late.
Okay.
It's late.
Okay. So
yes. Another thing that contributes to having good credit, let's see, I would say outside of paying stuff on time. So as far as like utility bills that don't report to credit bureaus, such as a cable bill, a phone bill, We Energies no longer reports to credit bureaus, you still have to pay those bills on time, because if you don't, even though it doesn't report to credit bureaus, it can as a collection. So
all you people that be waiting in the wintertime, like, I ain't gonna pay them. You don't want We Energies to cut you off or send you to collections. Well, maybe, I mean, if they
it's
do.
wintertime now, so y'all good. But I'm just saying.
But even if y'all do, listen, y'all can hit her up and get in our class, okay? All right. So another thing that I wanted to say is, what are some of the ways to maintain good credit?
Some ways to maintain good credit, of course, paying things on time. Another thing, I recommend everybody to check their credit report at least every quarter, every 3 months, just to make sure there's no errors on there, just to make sure there's some accounts on there that you 100% sure is not yours, just to make sure like someone's not trying to do some sort of identity theft or fraud or scam in your name. I promise you guys, it literally happens to millions of people. I've had numerous people call me like, this is not mine. I have no idea where it comes from. So make sure you have some sort of credit monitoring site. I do recommend FICO A, Experian, or Identity IQ when it comes to seeing what's on your credit report. Another thing a lot of people don't think about, so on your credit profile you have a personal section, and it basically shows like your date of birth. It'll show current or previous addresses that you have lived at. A lot of people ignore those. It is best to actually dispute those regardless if you live there or not, and the main reason is if you have too many addresses on a credit report and you try to apply for something through lenders, it can appear as if you're pretty much unstable. So I always tell people to make sure they look at that. Some people's middle initials are completely wrong. Some people's last names are completely wrong. Sometimes there's addresses on there where you have never lived.
Listen, she didn't have to dispute a couple of addresses. I'm like, dude, for one, I never lived there, or if I did, I lived there as a kid, as a child. So seriously, y'all, pay attention, okay?
Yes.
Okay. All righty. Anything else that they can do to maintain good credit?
I mean, those are pretty much like the main two important things. Make sure you're paying stuff on time. Make sure you have positive trade lines, whether it's a car note or a credit card reporting. Make sure you frequently check your credit report for errors. Yeah.
Okay. And then another thing that I learned too with working with Gloria, especially with COVID right now, they are allowing you to check your credit reports across the board free every 30 days. So if you're worried about, I don't want to pay $1, I don't want reoccurring payments, Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, they are letting you do it for free every 30 days.
And that's at annualcreditreport.com.
Keep running it back. Alrighty. So we all have been there. I know I've personally been there. I've talked to people that have been there. What happens, unfortunately, when your credit takes a turn for the worse?
Okay. So I've been there before.
We all human.
But basically, say if unfortunately you make late payments, you don't keep track of what's going on with your score or your report, your credit score will unfortunately 9 times out of 10 severely decrease. If you try to apply for something that you typically would get approved for, you'll probably get denied. If, for example, you try to get a new car, your interest rate might be in the double digits.
Listen.
You might be paying for that car 2-3 times. I've seen it on several occasions.
They'll try to get your ass.
You might get denied, get unnecessary hard inquiries because of those denials. So, don't let it happen.
And so when do you feel like people should recognize, like, okay, my credit is taking a turn for the worse, and when should they take action?
I guess it feels like when they catch it. So if you know for a fact you made for example, credit card payment late, something that I would recommend is to maybe try to reach out to that credit card company and see if they'll do a leap of faith and just reverse it back to positive. Maybe be honest and explain what happened. I completely forgot, or I changed my banking information linked to my card. Can you guys just forgive me this one time? I've actually done it several times in the past. I just want to keep 100% payment on time payment history. So, what was the second question?
So what should they do when they realize that it's kind of getting worse? So you kind of pretty much covered that. Once you see it getting worse, act. Do not wait. I know a lot of people, credit is, I think, a scary thing for a lot of people. I think people don't realize that they would get really, really nervous when it comes to credit. But just take action as soon as you can. I was one of those people, unfortunately, that waited till it got bad. Luckily, I have somebody close to me that's willing to drop gems and assist me, and she's been holding my hand on the way, and we well on our way there. One of my close friends actually just told me that she made it to the 700 club. You know who you are. I am proud of you, baby girl.
Shout out to
she
her.
is about to be getting her first house soon.
Okay.
So we doing it. We doing it big over here. Alrighty. So what is one of the biggest credit myths when it comes to credit repair? Because I see stuff on social media all the time. People don't pay nobody to fix your credit. You can do it yourself. So what's one of the biggest myths?
And you know what? So let me just talk about this because, a lot of people be like, well, you can find that information on Google. Let me tell you something. You can't find my letters on Google, okay? So I just need to...
I'm living proof.
I just need to say that. But I feel like I have two myths.
Okay.
One of them is, and people don't know this, but they feel like when something is deleted from your credit report, they feel like they no longer have to pay that, that debt went completely away. That debt still exists. It's just not on your credit report anymore. So let's use this as an example. In the state of Wisconsin, there's a statute of limitations. It's 6 years. So let's say you have a $10,000 credit card. Let's use credit card. It went into collections. I was able to get it deleted, and you think, yes, I don't have to pay them. They $10,000 back. You the girl, no, you still owe that. It's just not on your credit report anymore. So say if you're trying to get a home or you're trying to apply for a credit card or you're trying to get a car, they won't see that account. But if that account was really yours, you still owe that debt up until that 6 year of statute of limitation ends. And a lot of people don't know that.
Okay.
Something that I also want to just piggyback off of that. So the $10,000 credit card is deleted. There's actually a 20% chance of something that has gotten deleted to come back if that collection agency sells that account to another collection agency. So something that I tell people is, one, you have two options. The account is gone. There's a 20% chance it may come back. What you can do is call that credit card company to see if they are willing to settle for about 20 to 30% of that $10,000 debt.
Okay.
And that way you ensure there's a 100% chance that it will never come back on your credit report.
Okay.
Otherwise, it is what it is. You can let it be, and you know what might possibly happen.
Okay. So there it is, y'all. There are myths when it comes to credit. That's why I say when people try to say, oh, don't hire anybody, there's so much stuff that Gloria has been able to tell me that I did not know. So it's best to where if you're feeling overwhelmed or even if you don't want to do the work, like, let's be honest. Why do you think people hire people to clean or do their hair? They don't feel like doing it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with somebody assisting you with getting a better life. So don't let people. Yeah, of course, Tommy.
Sorry, I have a question. As a in conjunction with the $10,000 example you gave, it's off my credit report. It can't be seen, but is it still counting against like my debt somewhere where they are able to consider that if I'm trying to get a loan or something?
Like debt to income
No,
ratio.
so once it's deleted from your report, it can't be seen by anybody except, of course, that collection agency, but it's not on your report anymore. But as far as trying to apply for anything, it'll be as if it never existed, literally. So it won't affect like your other debt or anything like that. You just know deep down in your heart that that account is really yours.
It's just between me and you. Alrighty, so this is one of the things that unfortunately sometimes it just does come down to it. So I wanted to be completely transparent about it, when and if you should file for bankruptcy.
So I'm not saying it's just because I own a credit repair company, but I will always recommend someone to either work on them credit themselves, maybe do some research, or to hire a legit credit repair company to work on your credit for you before filing for bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is tough. It's one of the hardest things to get off of a credit report, but it's not impossible. I've gotten a few off. They do take months. It could take anywhere from 6 months. It could take anywhere from a year or so on and so forth. It just really depends on how, the credit bureaus respond.
Okay.
I feel like someone should only file for bankruptcy if they are probably spending more than 50% of their income paying for debt.
Okay.
If they are doing something like digging into their retirement to pay for debt. Sorry, I'm twisting my words up. But like I said earlier, I feel like that's a last resort.
Okay.
Credit repair is definitely cheaper than hiring an attorney to deal with your bankruptcy. And I just feel like if you're not somewhere close to like $100,000 in negative debt, not positive debt, you shouldn't file for bankruptcy.
There's a way to get out, basically. So, like she said, if your debt is not that high, there's a way to get out. And it may take, and I'll be honest, because I filed for bankruptcy back in the day, and I regret it because what happened is, unfortunately, I had a vehicle. I didn't have insurance on it, got into a really bad accident, and I was liable for me and the other person's vehicle. And it was like, at that time, I was younger. I was trying to make different moves as far as moving out on my own. I needed another vehicle. So I'm like, you know what? I can't deal with it. And I regret it because I told them not to include credit cards and stuff like that I had in my bankruptcy. They did anyway. And unfortunately, sometimes when you file bankruptcy, depending on those creditors, conditions, you can never bank with them again. You can never get a car with them again. So there's definitely cons to it. The only pro is, okay, it's wiped out. But the cons that you have to deal with it, for example, like she said, she's currently working on getting it deleted off of my credit report at the moment. We got it deleted off of, I think 1 or 2 reporting agency. So I'm well on my way. But again, if you're young, just don't make stupid mistakes because they're going to bite you in the ass. They're going to come back.
To be honest, it could take years to bounce back from a bankruptcy, like literally years. Like lenders won't fuck with you. Like, oh, no, he or she don't be paying people back. We ain't messing with her. Or, okay, yeah, we finna give it to her. Your interest rate finna be 42%.
Listen.
Like, I promise you.
And they can do it. They can do it. Alrighty, so you touched a little bit about this when you were saying, if you're like 50% paying your income to debt. So realistically, because I think a lot of people don't understand this, like for people that make a decent amount of money a month, they think, oh, I make $6,000 a month. I can go get a $2,000 apartment. I can go get an $800 car note. And then you left looking crazy. So how much of your income should you be spending / saving?
Okay, so I go by this rule. It's called the 50-30 80-20 rule. 50% of your income should be applied to necessities. So groceries, gas, rent, utilities, things that you need.
Okay.
30% goes towards wants. So maybe date night with your girl, movies, shopping, little frivolous, miscellaneous stuff that you might like to do.
Weave.
Okay. And then 20% should go towards your savings.
Okay.
Something that my mom always taught me as a young age, when you get paid, regardless if it's like a hustle or a 9-to-5 job, one of the first things that you should do is always pay yourself first. You worked for your money, so why would you not pay yourself first?
True.
So I've been saving since I was 16 years old. I do believe in saving so much. I'm a little cheap sometimes, but
Ain't
that's
nothing wrong with being
that's
cheap.
Okay. I got a coin in my savings
I was gonna
account.
say the cheapest people I know, they either got some coin put up or they got investments. So they nothing wrong with that.
So
You're
yeah.
frugal. Let's not say cheap. You're
Yeah,
frugal.
I'll say I'm frugal.
She frugal.
But yeah, definitely try to save at least 20% of your income. And of course, depending on how your bills are, some people are able to save 30% of their income. Some people are able to save 40% of their income. So you know what's best for you. I feel like at the bare minimum,
20.
You should be able to put 10%, but I like to do 20%.
Okay. Okay. So with people that's watching this episode, you dropping a lot of game. I'm pretty sure they're wondering, like, if you're in a situation to where your credit has taken a turn for the worse, or maybe you just want to get to the 800s or get to the 700s. How long realistically can credit repair take?
I feel like it depends on your starting point.
Okay.
I've had people graduate from my program literally in 35 days. Like the first month of them being with me, every single negative account, it was deleted. I was happy. They were excited. I couldn't believe it happened. And I've had some people who have been in my program for a year and a half. They have a little bit more extreme accounts on their credit profile. So I really just feel like it varies and it depends on what's on your account. If it's a bankruptcy out the gate, it's going to take several months because there's a process that you have to go through, a lot of paperwork that has to get processed. You have to communicate with the courts. You have to communicate with the credit bureaus. You have to communicate with third-party creditors that people don't know about, like SageStream, LexisNexis, ARS. Like, these are all, like, people that house bankruptcy information. So I feel like it really just depends on what your starting point is. Okay. So it could be a quick process or it could be a long process. Usually, I try to have people done with my program between 3 to 6 months. Sometimes it's shorter. Sometimes it takes twice as long.
So it's a case by case. So don't think it's overnight. And I think that's why a lot of people probably run to bankruptcy, because it's like, okay, in a couple months, I'm done with it. You got to do the hard work. You got to. It's not going to be easy. You probably going to have to do some sacrifices. But when I tell you it's worth it in the end, I've been able to get credit cards out the wazoo. I haven't been using them. Gloria has been contacting me. Like, I see your credit utilization is low. Keep up the good work. And it's
I've been
rewarding.
getting on her ass, y'all.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I need that. I need a fire lit underneath my ass sometimes.
Sometimes you got to do that, because let me tell you, some of these clients, they don't be trying to listen.
Tommy said you're going to have to call him.
They don't be trying to listen. I've had to fire my clients before.
You can get discharged.
Because they don't listen. It don't be worth the headache. Like, girl, didn't I tell you? I'll never tell you nothing on purpose that would jeopardize your credit. That's not what I do this for. I'm doing this to help you. So please,
just listen.
If I'm telling you something, listen to me.
Okay. So y'all know that I love polls. So I had to slide just a few up in there, about credit, because I feel like there's some things that, we just need to touch. One of the questions was, do you feel like credit should be a part / taught in high school curriculum? 100% of my timeline said yes. That's really big for me, because I feel like some kids don't have parents that even use credit. They use cash, so they don't know what to talk to them about. And when you're 18, fresh credit score, that is like one of the peak times to where you're going to get stuff in the mail. Like, you can get a car with a low interest rate. You can get a credit card. Everybody is trying to give you stuff because you're fresh. And I feel like when you're younger, it's best to get those good habits and going. So when you're older, you can kind of sit back and kick up. So what do you feel about that being taught?
Let me say about this. They be talking about sex in school. So why we can't talk about credit? They be talking about body parts and
Okay.
all this stuff. Why you can't talk about something that, kids should know? Let me tell you something. When I turned 21, I had got approved for an American Express credit card. You couldn't have told me I wasn't rich. Like,
Because American Express is hard to get. Them cards
American
heavy.
Express. Don't talk to me, peasant. No.
It's true they have no limit. It's true they don't have a limit, right?
Yes, they have no preset limit. There eventually might be a limit, but it honestly depends on how you use your credit card.
And maybe that's something we can talk to the school board about, especially in MPS. I feel like credit is important. Just like any other curriculum, like history, math. Credit is something that you are going to have to use to get apartments, houses, possibly cars. Cash is good, but sometimes you are going to need credit. So I really feel like they should start teaching that.
And wait, I just want to say this too. I feel like part of it is parents too. So, when I had that American Express card, my mom made me close it.
Damn.
And if I would have known what I know now, I never would have closed it, because that would have been my oldest account on my credit report.
Me and Miss
That
Mitchell
was my first credit card.
I'm glad you said that, because that was the teaching. That was my credit teaching growing up. I had a JCPenney card. That was my first card, and I bought a hat. And my mother was like, "Where do you get that from?" Like, I just applied for it. She took it, paid it off, and closed it. And that was all I.
Don't close down them
No,
all
this
accounts.
this
She
is
didn't tell
how
me
they
why,
get you
didn't
in
tell me how to
debt.
do it or anything, and I never learned. I never learned how to use it.
Yes.
See?
So,
And
yeah.
that kind of actually leads into the next question that I asked. Do you think financial illiteracy can be passed down? So generational. 97% said yes, 3% said no. I'm a part of the 97%. I feel like a lot of people, like, they don't know it, but a parent plays a vital role in your life. Anything that your parent teaches you, even if you don't maybe listen or use it at that moment, it can be handy down the way. If you see your mom or your dad or your grandma, whoever, always taking out loans, frivolously spending money, not saving, I feel like that honestly can rub off on you. Like, it really can. Or if your people around you have shopping addictions, I personally think financial literacy is a thing and it can be passed down. What do you feel about that?
I 100% agree. I feel like it can be passed down, but I feel like the issue is our parents didn't know. Our parents were possibly like born in like the 60s, the 50s. Maybe their parents didn't teach it to them. So, I really feel like the 80s, baby.
We trying to break generational curses pretty much. Okay. Alrighty. So the next question I wanted to ask was, could you date someone who is financially irresponsible? 82%
Hell no.
said no. 18% said yes. So, honest opinion, I'm a part of the 18%. I'm going to say yes because I've been financially irresponsible for it, and I would never want somebody not to date me because maybe I'm just not there yet. So I got to be honest. I'm going to say yes, but there's a disclaimer on that. You have to be willing to get your shit together. It can't be, okay, I'm financially irresponsible and now I'm finna spend up your money or our money and then we just gonna be broke together. No. You have to be willing and ready to show change. And the only reason why I say yes is because I met somebody that was patient with me. So I would want that same respect given. So I would say yes, but I would need you to really, really work hard. And it's not easy because, again, I'm a product of it. It's not easy. Sometimes it's hard. But when it comes to a relationship, if your partner is financially responsible, the best thing that you can do is get on board. Don't stress them out. Don't make them feel like that they're always cleaning up your messes or trying to cover up what you have going on. So I would, but me and that person would have to kind of get a game plan in order, discuss some things, and let's just see where it goes. Now, if it's a year later, 2 years later, and you still making the same mistakes, your ass is grass. But I will be lenient only because somebody was lenient with me. But like Gloria said, hell no, she ain't dating yo.
Let me say that how you explained it, I could deal with something like that. But I just feel like a lot of people really be having their priorities completely fucked up. Like, I be seeing so many people be buying Cartiers walking to the bus stop. Like, what?
Listen, nigga, do them glasses got wheels on it? You can get you a little trap for as much as the glasses cost.
It gotta make sense. It gotta make sense.
Okay. Alrighty. So the last question of the night is, how important is credit to you? Very important or cash is my preference. 90% said very important. 10% said cash is my preference. I'm a part of the 90%. Credit is important to me. It's something that I've always wanted to have, was good credit. And not even just to use it, but just knowing, like, sometimes there's emergencies. You never know. Look at what happened with the pandemic. If you had good credit, and not saying that you should take out a bunch of loans, but all those people that they had waiting for unemployment, waiting on stimulus checks, anything, if you had good credit and you had a credit card with a higher limit that you really didn't touch, that could have helped a lot of families not be evicted, not starve, have basic necessities until everything got going as far as unemployment, because it's like, it was just ridiculous. So I'm one of those type of people. I like cash, it's cool, but having good credit is definitely something that's important to me.
Credit will take you places that cash can't. Let me tell y'all something. So I use my credit cards for everything. I don't have not one debit card in my wallet right now. I pay my rent with my credit card. I put gas in my car with my credit card. I pay for groceries with my credit card. I pay my utility bills with my credit card. Restaurants with my credit card. I literally use my credit card for everything. And the reason, but it's all stuff that I can pay for with cash or a debit card, but I reap the benefits of a credit card. A lot of credit cards give you cash back rewards. I went Christmas shopping for free off my cash back.
Hello.
For my credit cards for free. I had over $1,000 of free cash just from using my credit cards on something that I was going to spend cash for on anyways. Debit cards do not give you those type of rewards or benefits.
Definitely don't.
You can catch flights for free using a certain credit card. You can get cash for free using the credit card. Like, I don't know. Credit cards are just really, really beneficial. And I just wish people would stop looking at them as a negative thing, because it really can help you in a lot of situations.
Excuse me, Gloria. I need you to save my life. And reason why I would select you is because you're making a lot of sense now. 2, I don't know you. Because there's some vulnerability of going to somebody that I know, of opening up my drawer and having you look through my underwear and be like, you need to get rid of these. I would probably feel more comfortable saying, all right, this is where I fucked up. This is where I need help in, and this is what I got, and you kind of helping me walk through that. So I look forward to calling you.
Yeah, give me a call.
Y'all see it scrolling at the bottom, so y'all need to follow my girl on Instagram. Plug yourself again. Let these people know where they can find you.
They can find me on Instagram, firstclass_financial solutions. You can find me on Facebook, First Class Financial Solutions. You can call my business number, 1-888-752-0383 or 414-246-5733. Let's get y'all credit together.
Listen. Well, thank you so much, friend, for stopping by. I appreciate you. I love this episode. I feel like we really want people to be able to kind of get their shit together. Like, let's take over the Black Mecca, Black Enterprise. However we can push people moving forward, whether it's credit, knowledge, whatever, we gonna drop it. And this was all, you see, she dropping gems for free. So I hope y'all tuned into this episode. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I enjoyed it my damn self. So thank you for tuning in to What's Up Bree. I'm gonna give y'all a break. So I know the holidays is coming up. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's. We will see you in the new year, and we are coming back talking about mental health. We finna go see Spider-Man in 4D.
Okay.
Is you ready? All right. So thank you guys for joining me on another episode of What's Up Bree, and we out.
And I'm actually going to get right into it. I mean, really want to know how. You know, how can I blaze my own path? How can I be successful? How can I follow the path that someone else has laid for me to be successful?
Sitting on deuces while the blunt burn. Still raping rap music cause I want more. All money in, it's just us four. It's just Cobby, it's just Harvey, it's just Rempor. It's just Adam, it's just Black Salmon, both the fats. Where your 600 bands, where your Rovers at? Where your Cuban links, nigga, where your rollies at? Where your big booty